Jesus. Now I suddenly have stage fright, even though I'm literally talking into a mic. Basically, this is the long-awaited video that literally everyone and their nan has been begging me to make. Yeah, I'm stalling. It's been 2 minutes. So this is the long and awaited video that people have been begging me to make, which is how I do my masking. If you don't know me, I am known to overcomplicate everything I do in my edits and just mask the I mask a lot, even when it's not necessary. I mask a lot and it gets on people's nerves. But people have been asking me how I mask. In this video, I will be talking about my masking process and the different ways you could approach masking in After Effects. So we will be talking about these tools and this one here, like these 3 right here. Masking is essentially just picking out what you want from your footage and just cutting it out, basically. So if I were to take a random frame of Wanda, let's do my guy has really blue eyes. Say I want to cut her out, right? I want to isolate her, but I don't want the background. So what you would do, right, is just get your clip that you want, right? I would recommend, before you do anything, is comping your clip. So on Windows, that's Control-Shift-C. On Mac, it will be Command-Shift-C, I believe, if I remember correctly. Make sure that these 2 options are picked and press OK, right? And you have it isolated, so that any effects or masking you put on, it will be isolated to the composition of your project rather than the composition of the actual clip file. For what I usually do is go comp my thing, go into the composition and change the composition settings to what it originally was for the type of transitions I will do. If you want some form of video of me explaining how I do my transitions, just tell me and I'll somehow make it. This is just an explanation on what masking essentially is. So, the basics of masking. There are 3 tools, as I said earlier. There's the shape one, there's the pen tool, and then there's rotobrushing. We're gonna start with these 2 because these are very similar. The shape tool, which you can actually get different shapes on here, right? You can get rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse, polygon, stars, and yeah, all that jazz. These are pre-existing shapes that you can make, so you don't have to draw it out yourself with the pen tool, because trust me, I have tried making a goddamn circle with the pen tool and crying about it because I can't get the freaking circle right. Just click on your clip that you want to mask, click on the shape tool, press Q on your keyboard to go through the shapes, and let's say I want to do circle, and then just drag it on your clip, right? That's basically what masking is. Choosing a section of your clip and basically isolating it to that shape. So that's the shape tool. The pen tool, which is my absolute freaking favorite of the masking tools, is allows you to make custom shape masks. So I do a lot of transitions where it's a zoom from one person to the foreground, which I will explain in another video at some time. So yeah, you basically just want to take the pen tool, make sure you select your clip. If you don't select your clip, you will activate the shape layer, which is not what you want. You don't want that. Bye-bye. So you have to make sure before you start masking and you select the pen tool or any of these tools, you click the clip you want to mask, right? And then you just go ahead and just click around the subject. Now, This is something that not many people talk about, but yeah, let's just do not go overboard with how many of these dots you put, right? Because as much as we love precision, you can put like loads of dots next to each other and you'll get like more precise curves, right? However, that when it comes to keyframe masks will be an actual freaking nightmare. So it needs to be a balance of having like as many as you can, but not too many that you want to have a breakdown, right? Have them quite spaced out and quite evenly spaced out as well. As you can see, these are quite sharp edges because I'm doing a rough mask. But if you want more precision, you can click and hold, and it will activate these axes. These basically controls the curvature of your mask, and you can go around and make the mask rounder if you want. I am doing a really bad job. Yeah, but I only do that if like I necessarily need to. If it's only like a quick transition, I won't bother doing that because it gets really fiddly when you want to keyframe your mask. Bam. So you got that. As you can see, once the mask is fully complete, it will close up and do the whole alpha remove thing. You'll see how sharp these edges are. Let me put the full resolution so you can see. You'll see how sharp these edges are. This is not what you want. I personally don't like it because when it comes to my edits, I want to try and make it look as natural as possible. In the real world, nothing has these sharp of edges. So this is when you click your comp again and you press F on your keyboard. And you have something called mask feather. What the feathering of the mask does is basically plays with the contrast of the pixels. These here, right? So the higher the feather is, the less contrast the mask has. Therefore, giving the edge of the mask a much softer feel to it. So it's like a huge pet peeve of mine. Please mask your not mask your feathers, feather your masks if you want it to look as like smooth and like quote unquote real as possible, right? Also, this is a mistake I did. I used to put my feather all the way up, right? But what that does is because there's less contrast, it starts showing off the background of what the bits of the mask that you wanted to hide. And not only that, the opacity of the actual clip goes down. So if I were to put another clip underneath, you'd see that it just looks really bad. You see like vision intersecting Wanda's eye and whatnot. That's not what you want, right? So I recommend with your feather, have it between, depending on how intricate your mask is, have the feathering between 5 to 20. I usually put it around 15 to 20 as a starting point. You see, look at that. It's pretty soft. Like the edges are pretty soft, like IRL, and it just looks like a normal PNG of Wanda, right? Look at that. God, she is beautiful. So that's that. Okay, we got a clip of vision. Pretty masked out, okay? This is pretty decent. I kind of rushed this, but it's pretty decent, to say the least. This is, this bit, this is more keyframing your masks. So click your clip and press M, and it will activate mask path. You want to click this, like, timer thing here, right? And yeah, you just activate that, and that will activate your keyframe. Because when it comes to masking, you want the mask to move along with the subject. Because if you were to not keyframe where your mask goes and your subject moves a lot, Wanda's kind of peeking in. Wanda, I love you, but not right now. As you can see in this clip, he's kind of, the mask is not following, which is not what you want to do. So to avoid this, you have to keyframe where your mask goes. I recommend changing the blending mode of your mask here to none so you can see the background, because once you click the layer, you'll be able to see the mask. So this is why I tell you not to go overboard with all these, because it will get tedious at this point, right? So what you can do is go frame by frame, changing the mask, but you know, human beings are lazy, so we try to find the easiest way to do this. So just scroll through your clip to where the subject moves a bit, right? You then make sure you have your mask selected. Double click your mask so that the white, this bit, comes up. And just move it along, right? So the head move, you move this bit. Then you go around you deselect that, right? And click your mask again. You go around and see where the points have moved off. See the points here have moved off here. You click your mask. You should have a little rectangle next to your cursor. Just drag it over the keyframes of the mask and just move them to where they need to be. This, at first, if you're not used to it, is really tedious. I hated this process. Surprisingly enough, Variant hated masking at some point. But, you know, it's just, this is where you learn how to be patient and stuff. This is where I learned patience when it comes to production. That, and then just go in and adjust where needed. Like here, the shoulders, a little high up. So I'm just gonna, oh my days. And you just do this process all the way through the clip you need. By the way, quick thing, before you mask a twisted clip, make sure your twisted clip is comped before you mask. But as you can see in this clip alone, you should be able to see that the mask, yeah, look at that. The mask follows Vision's head. And then you just go through again. You just go through your clip and adjust where the mask needs to be. Right. Over time, you'll learn a system of how to do this faster. And you'll learn, and because it will be out of habit, you'll like get fast. It's like writing or like riding a bike or something. You'll get better at it the more you do it. So bring that down. Bring that down and go forward in your clip. I think that's fine. Sometimes you don't even need to, obviously need to move the mask here. Sometimes you don't need to move the mask that much because of how much movement there is. If there's less movement, then you're in. If there's no movement, you're in heaven. You don't need to keyframe anything. But if there is like less movement here, like in this one, like the end of this clip, you don't need to like go frame by frame masking. It will only become an issue if you have a really fast clip. You can scrub through just to make sure that the mask does not stray away. You can see here, from this point, this is straight away there. Right. As you can see, I did not go through it frame by frame and mask each one, because that will be tedious. And then to show you what it looks like. Anyway, so that's how I use the pen tool. I use the pen tool a lot. Not gonna lie, the pen tool is probably the #1 tool I use when it comes to my edits. So that's that. This is the #1 tool I use. Right, this one. This is the one when I was talking about masking, everyone's like, use rotobrush tool. Right, I'm gonna talk about it. I personally don't use it that often unless I have to, because I prefer just going in myself and doing it, but this is really personal preference, but I'm going to talk about this tool anyway, because it's here. So, to use this, right, the rotobrush tool, make sure you have your clip, right, your clip. Let's just go with this. Your clip here, Vision. Actually, I want to use a different clip, hold on. Right, you have your clip, you comp it, like so, because you just always comp your clips if you're going to add effects, right? And you go in here. Right? You go inside the comp. You then make sure that your footage is full. Okay? Because the rotobrush tool works better if the footage is in full resolution. You then go to your rotobrush tool, click on the clip you want to rotobrush out, double click it, and it will take you to a new window. And you see that this thing here, it has gone from an arrow to like a sniper shot. This is basically the tool, right? To control the size, you hold down Control, and you hold down left click, and you drag left and right, and that controls the size. We're gonna do this thing, right? So you have in green, you got like this target thing, right? And then you just outline what you basically want to rotobrush. See, didn't really capture our head properly, so that's where you go in again. And just there. Right, so that's basically what I want to isolate out. You then just, you know, let it play. And what rotobrush does, it automatically like masks your subject and goes through the footage, masking every single frame. Oh, it's done. I was on Insta. So you see, there we go. It basically masks out everything you need, right? That's the masking. Done. Complete. There are some areas which are like, right, but you can actually go back in, find the bits you don't want masked, and hold down Alt, or whatever key it is on the Mac. I don't remember it. And it will turn the thing from green to red. This basically allows you to take away parts of the mask. Like so, but that was too much. I don't want that. So it's backspace. So yeah, if there are areas in your rotobrushing that are like, that you don't want in your mask, you can just go like here. You can just adjust the size, hold down Alt, and just delete them, basically. We then get out of this window once you're satisfied with all of this. Right. You go here, you'll see that the background is completely gone, and all you have left is Wanda. But as you can see with rotobrush, it's very harsh lines. What you can then do is go over here. You have these options here. Feather, contrast, shift edge, and reduce chatter. Feathering is like in normal masking, it will soften up your edges, like so. So that the backspace. You see here how choppy these are? If I pull up the feathering, it basically smooths them out, right? And you have this. But then again, if you look around here, the lines are quite harsh. So this is where I play around with the contrast. It's basically the same thing I explained with the pen tool. The contrast will play with the contrast of the pixels of your rotobrush. So if you were to put less contrast, there's less contrast between the pixels of your image versus the alpha, or like the lack of alpha. So so what I usually do if I do rotobrush, I turn down the contrast. But you don't want the contrast to be like all the way down, because it will be the same issue that if you were to put something behind it, you will be able to see through like your subject. So I put it to me like, if I were to have it like 0.1, like 1, you can see that the edges are very soft, but you'll have the issue of being able to see through your subject. So I usually put it around 20 to 40 to around 30, and that should be okay. And as you can see, it has softened up the edges and gives it a more natural look to the mask. So if we were to play through this, look at that! That is like a really well masked out roto of Wanda, literally about to kick Monica out of Westview. So now with that in mind, you'll see that the changes have been done here. You then freeze your rotobrush, and this might take a while depending how big your clip is. It will go through every single frame that you have rotobrushed and basically just isolate that mask and keep it there so it doesn't change as you edit it. So we gotta wait here a while. Now that that has been frozen, you basically cannot edit it. This is the final step you would want to do once you're satisfied with your rotobrush. So you can now close this window and you have the final thing here, right? I think we can turn down the corner and it will basically isolate your frames. But that is basically how rotobrush works, right? So the main pointers you want to take from this video is when you mask with the pen tool, do not go overboard with the dots. Please, for your own sanity, don't go overboard with the dots. With the rotobrush and your pen tool, always feather your masks, please. I am begging you, feather your masks, trust me. It will make your edit look so much better if you feather your goddamn masks. I don't know what else to put. Maybe in the next video I will explain how I do my masking transitions. If you want like a video on that, just tell me and I'll make it. So this is this is Abby's very strangely explained video on how I approach masking and my masking process. I hope this video was helpful somehow. I don't know. I hope it helps, and I will hopefully see you whenever the next video comes out. Yeah. So I'm sorry that this took forever to be made. I got busy with school. So yeah. Anyway, like the video, subscribe if you want more, and follow my TikTok. If you're here, you're probably from my TikTok, but just, you know, it's the same username as on here. So follow my Insta. And I do a lot of like question things on there. So if you want like questions and stuff, or if you just like have a general question you want to ask me personally, just DM me on Insta, and I will most probably answer it there. So yeah, I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope you guys enjoy. So like, comment, and subscribe, I guess. Okay.